Welcome to the Hustle Factory podcast show.
All we do is hustle.
And here's your host, John Lindemus.
He's kind of a big deal.
Bringing you amazing insights and views of entrepreneurship on today's society.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to The Hustle. And I mean the podcast show where hustle, grind, and passion intertwine together. In today's episode, I will be uncovering the ugly truth behind the oldest question of all time. Why in the hell people are so negative all the time? So if you are ever curious about this statement, then tune in to this episode, guys. Ever since I have begun my journey as an entrepreneur in 2015, I have seen and observed a variety of different behaviors or mindset itself, from good to bad, from the best to the worst. And one of those behaviors and mindset that I've seen so many times are a huge number of people that are very negative all the time. And this actually got me thinking, why do they have this kind of mindset? I mean, what's up with that? Well, I am here to tell you my experiences and points about this terrible mindset by people. So let's get on to it, guys. Before I go on to the next point, I just want to do a quick recap on the previous episode that I uploaded last week. And if you listen through it, I was actually discussing about negative habits and the top 3 negative habits that everyone must give up in order to become successful. During that episode, I mentioned one negative habit that I despise the most, and that is skepticism, ladies and gentlemen. But then again, you might be wondering, how is skepticism related to the negative people? To put it simply, skepticism is actually one of the main characteristics of a negative person, aside from being pessimistic and other negative characteristics. And also, I feel like skepticism is one of the worst habits of them all to have. You might be still wondering on the halfway of this episode, why in the hell people are so negative all the time? Well, not to worry, my fellow hustlers. I'm here to uncover the secret behind this disgusting mindset created by them. First, I want to tell you guys something real quick. If you're a hardcore negative person, and I mean you're a hardcore negative person, like you're so skeptical, you're pessimistic, and all of the bad characteristics out there of a negative person, and you happen to be listening to this episode, then that's fucking awesome, man. Because you have no idea how everything's gonna change your life once you listen to this episode. And trust me, I would recommend for you to stick around for the next couple of minutes of your life, because what I'm about to tell you will change your mindset for the rest of your life, and even better, your lifestyle as well. So stick around, my friend. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow hustlers, let me go right ahead and get on to the final point of the episode. The whole point of this episode is basically for me to uncover the truth. Why a fractional number of people are so negative all the time. Like, I mean, did you guys ever wonder what's the reason behind why negative people they're just negative, you know? But here's the kicker. The kicker is that the majority of the people these days don't even know why people are just negative all the time. Like, sometimes we don't know, and we have zero idea about it, but I'm about to tell you about it in a second. As I have mentioned before in previous episodes, people tend to overlook or overthink the simplest things or concepts, and that's why we have these negative habits created. With that saying, that also includes the mindset itself, whether it is positive or negative, good or bad. But before I uncover the truth, or should I say the ugly truth about the negative people, I gotta ask you guys something. Are you ready to hear it? If you are, then brace yourself for the next couple of minutes of your life, because it is about to get real, and I'm about to blow your mind. Let's get on to it. From what I have concluded from years of observing and analyzing negative people since I have begun my journey as an entrepreneur 3 years ago, is this. And I want you guys to listen to this really carefully. Are you ready for this? The truth, the ugly truth. Here it goes. What really is that they're just fearful, just afraid, just so damn scared and afraid. Now, let me pause there for a second, and I want all of you guys to think about this really carefully. So let's take a moment. Let me pause there for a second. Let me pause for like 20-30 seconds. I want you guys to really think about it. So let me put a timer on. All right, I'm back. So that was like 20 seconds, so that's not bad. All right. Have you thought about it carefully, guys, on what I've asked you earlier? Good. So let's move on to my final thoughts of this episode. As I have said before, they are just fearful. And what they And what they are is just afraid to fail, afraid to make the same mistakes from the past. And the list can go on forever. It can be anything. Like they're afraid of making this mistake because they bought this certain product a couple of years ago and it didn't work out, or they went to this seminar and it never worked out for them, and or perhaps they joined into some sort of like a affiliated marketing company and it never works out for them. And like there's so many out there, like they claim that it can change your life and so on, and so that's how people just get skeptical because of that. And that's not even the half of the ugly truth here. The truth is that it's not that they don't believe on it or trust it, and this can go like for saying that they do not believe on the product or the course they invested on and so much more. The fact is that they do not believe to themselves. They just don't believe to themselves. But what I also found out is that they have this mentality where they will say that, if you have this product, if this product or course works for you, then why would you want to share this to the rest of us? Why do you share this to the rest of the world? That's a really good point though. But in the end, here's one thing you guys need to remember. The reason why people are so negative all the time is because they are fearful and afraid. That's it. It's really that simple, but sometimes, like I said before, people tend to overlook and overthink this too much, but that's just it. That's the whole reason why people are so skeptical, because they're afraid. They're fearful. They have that scared mentality or fearful mentality. So the question is, what are they afraid of? Or what are they fearful of? They're afraid of failing, guys. Afraid of taking risks. And the list goes on forever. I mean, think about this for a second, guys. Do you realize that actually makes us human in the first place anyways? It's because we learn from these mistakes, and use them as a learning curve tool for us to grow and improve our lives. So here's my number one tip for you guys, and especially for all the skepticals out there who's listening to this episode right now. Stop dwelling in the past and move on. That's it. And before we officially end another great in-depth episode of the Hustle Factory podcast show, I would like to share to all of my loyal podcast subscribers out there, and as well to the new listeners as well to my podcast show. And make sure to tune into the next couple of minutes of your time, and I promise you that this will intrigue your interest. So I have one question for you guys. Are you keeping business options open right now? Yes or no? If yes, I recommend you to stay tuned for the next vital information. Great. Now I would like to tell you more about this company. It has been partnered with a 7-year-old international gold company. It is the number one in their category, and it is worldwide in over 120 plus countries. Its customer base of over 500,000 people all over around the world. Wow, that's amazing. So now, let me tell you what's going on here and what's the reason why I'm sharing this with you guys. First is we are expanding operations in the next phase. Second, what happened in the last 120 days? Its growth spurred almost match of last 7 years. Also, did you know that they also have launched a new cryptocurrency, and this is probably one of the things that I'm really excited the most, and I would like to share this to my subscribers and so on. The point is, I am looking for motivated individuals who are interested in positioning themselves in front of this next big thing that will profit from it, and better than that, it will change their lifestyle for the rest of their life. And I'm not even lying. So I just gotta ask one thing though. Are you open? Do you want more information? Yes or no? So if you find this very interesting and you would like to learn more information about it, go right ahead and subscribe to my podcast show, or simply go ahead and follow me on my Twitter at John Lim Dimas, at JOHNLIMDIMAS, and I would be glad to tell you more information about it as well. So if you guys are wondering what I just shared earlier, or if I intrigued your interest somehow, let me know in the comments below. And if you're interested to know more information about the company that I am affiliated with, or you can just simply send me a private message on Twitter, like I said before, at John Lim Dimas, and I'll get back with you as soon as possible. Sounds easy, right? Ladies and gentlemen, you have now reached the end of another lit and freaking amazing episode of the Hustle Factory podcast show. So if this is your first time to my podcast show on SoundCloud, make sure to subscribe to my show via SoundCloud, and also do not forget to follow us on our social media platforms, like on our official Facebook page and Twitter as well. You can also check them out on our SoundCloud profile page, and go ahead and follow me on Twitter at HFactory Podcast, and look me up on Facebook page. Follow at the Hustle Factory podcast show, and you will immediately see me there. Lastly, I just want to say thanks for listening to the new episode of the Hustle Factory podcast show, and I am so glad and psyched on the engagement rates of my podcast show that I'm beginning so far. and I'm truly blessed about the great results since the launch of my podcast show a month ago. And once again, thanks for listening to my podcast, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Peace.